Welcome back to McChat's fan commentary here at McGTV, youtube.com/Mike McGTV. As always, I'm your host, Mike McG, with co-host Max Andrews from 3.
How's it going?
Yep. And we're back here. I don't know why I'm talking like that, but because it's not necessarily a very happy-go-lucky episode to kick off on here.
No, that's got to be the intro from now on. Welcome back.
Oh man, Daredevil commentary here. Episode 6, Condemned, and I'm glad to have Max back here, and we'll keep the energy going as escalation has come to full-on war here in Daredevil, with the cops coming down on the Man in Black, who's trapped with one of his enemies, a Russian who can make knives out of rib cages.
It's a useful skill.
Yep.
You put that on your resume.
Meanwhile, we follow the exploits of Karen and Foggy at the hospital. So, that's all I really got today, Max. I didn't really prepare too much. Anything you kind of want to drop factoid-wise or anything interesting with regard?
Well, I kind of missed the ending of episode 5, but this is kind of the first episode where it's a cliffhanger, kind of, where you're just like, oh man, like you need to watch the next episode to find out what goes on, just because Matt Murdock's stuck, the cops are surrounded him, the whole world just exploded pretty much as far as everyone knows. So this is interesting in that it's the first time where the beginning episode is not just like the beginning of another episode so much as the continuation of the last episode.
Yeah, that's true. It's like up until this point, a lot of the episodes have had a nice kind of beginning, middle, and end, even though it ties in with a larger story arc that plays out throughout the season. But definitely this one, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not taking a break. That's what. So
yeah, unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we had to split this one up. But
well, hopefully we'll get right back on track here.
Yeah.
And what should the word? Because maybe you do the countdown for today, but what should the word be for today? That instead of 3, 2, 1, play, 3, 2, 1, whatever.
We're gonna say vodka because the Russians play heavily in this one.
Okay.
So I think that's fitting.
But you gotta put the Chekhov W on.
Yeah, the vodka.
Vodka. So as always,
yes, comrade.
Yes, comrade. Give me your rib cage. As always, there'll be no sound from the show. So just make sure you have your episode synced up at 0 here. And Max will count us down. And when he says the magic word, you press play with us.
All right. So here we go. It's going to be 3, 2, 1, vodka.
Netflix. And Marvel. Whenever you hear the flipping of those comic book pages, that's happened.
And this one just gets right into it.
I love, even despite how being as down-to-earth, gritty, and mature as the show is, nothing can stop a cop from dropping the F-bomb. Freaking move. Don't you freaking move. Which I'm going to admit, I've never actually really heard anyone say freaking.
Yeah,
in that context in real life.
They usually drop the heavier bomb. I mean, like if they're gonna go, why not drop it full on?
I mean, which just goes to show it's like Marvel still has kind of that. It'll go all the way up until like shit, as word usage goes, but it won't cross that line still, except for Deadpool. But Deadpool's from Fox, so
yeah.
Fox gives 0 fucks. Meanwhile, you made a mention of this in a previous podcast or in a 3 Geeks podcast about like the raid style fighting in this movie.
Yeah,
or movie show.
This is just brutal. Like when the first time I watched the raid, I couldn't really process what was going on, just because it's so fast and so just, these dudes are like, all right, I'm gonna put this dude down and make sure he doesn't get back up. And yeah, they definitely carried that the fighting style for these action sequences. They hear the Daredevil better for it. I just love it so much. And more dirty cops in New York City.
Yep. And that again, towing that line, because they'll show people getting shot in the head, but God forbid you show someone get decapitated.
Oh, that scene is just so. Oh my goodness. Just because like you don't even need to see it. You know, it's like his head gets smashed and then like all the juice just flows down. It's like, oh god, it's so gross.
Now, I've always been kind of curious with this title sequence, with certain aspects of it. Like, is it fully CGI with regards to that, or in regards to prepping it, did they actually kind of cover like models or statues in some kind of fluid or liquid?
Because it looks like wax. You
Yeah,
know?
almost.
So I don't know. That'd be cool if they did kind of build something and just drip stuff down it.
Yeah, and then of course do some CGI wizardry to
yeah,
smooth it out. But I always thought that would be kind of a cool thing, because with like the Age of Ultron sculpture at the very end of the movie with the credit sequence, that's an actual sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like a CGI thing. That's like an actual carved out sculpture with all those details. So I don't know, just one of those random thoughts I had. And
it depends. It depends on how much money they spent on it and which executive wanted to keep it later.
Mm-hmm. That's just hanging out in like what's his name, Drew Goddard's house or Stephen.
Yeah, just got got it under some glass or something. Like as you walk in, it's a little centerpiece.
That'd be a hell of a centerpiece. And so here's Urich putting the pieces together.
I don't think any good detective or lawyer show is good without the corkboard and the strings.
I guess what TV show or what movie pioneered that?
And like, is that a thing that they actually do?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there were plenty of examples beforehand, but I want to say maybe Mulder on the X-Files kind of patented that conspiracy, everything's connected here, I'll put strings on the board type thing. I don't know.
Oh, man. Whoever came up with that is really wishing he could have patented it or got some royalties or something, because everybody's been using it since.
And here we go with his boss, who it's implied that his boss is kind of undermining his investigation, undermining his efforts.
Yeah. I mean, he is definitely, even if he's not doing it on purpose, he's definitely just holding him back. Like, if there's no hidden agenda.
Yeah, as we find out later on, not as nearly as malicious as we thought. And here we are again with some of our favorite characters.
Driving around and
yeah, that's all they ever do.
City.
At first, before we were introduced to his home, I was kind of thinking, like, is this actually where the Kingpin's office? Like, he just spends his days constantly being caravanned around the city.
There's actually a shower in the vehicle.
Yeah,
and a small kitchen.
Huh. And so, oh yeah, this is where we have also kind of the first, not meeting, I guess, but first confrontation between Daredevil and the Kingpin, in which they make contact, but not necessarily physically.
No, it's good too.
It reminds me very much of a lot of like, well, when we get to it, it reminds me of a lot of like Die Hard.
Yeah,
in a way, almost.
Oh man, that's all Daredevil needed to put it, in the top 5 series of all time, is if Kingpin would have been like, shoot the glass.
If Vincent D'Onofrio had just changed up his delivery completely to just imitate Alan Rickman, God rest his soul. The whole time
in German first too. They're like, "When did you start speaking German?"
Okay, clearly Kingpin is mentally unhinged, because now he just. Oh man! And here we are with the 2 crooked detectives, And this one dude, I can never remember these guys' names, but
our favorite guys, Heckle and Jekyll.
Heckle and Jekyll, Flotsam and Jetsam. I do kind of like. Here's the one thing: is like it's one thing to be intimidating and scary and evil. It's another thing entirely to be, corrupt, but also be very casual about it. Like at this point where he's about ready to shoot him, he's just like, what was it? He's saying the gun doesn't work or something. I don't know. He comes up. Oh, ow, rebar.
Oh man, no. These guys kind of remind me of and oh god, what's his name in Pulp Fiction?
Jules
and Vincent.
Yeah, Jules and Vincent.
Yeah, in Pulp Fiction, just kind of like they're bad. They're always together, It's like
all he needs for one guy to say, that is a tasty burger.
You mind if I have some of your delicious beverage to wash this down?
You're Nick Fury.
Oh man. And Samuel L. Jackson just got super, you get in his old age, he gets super confused and he comes in just doing lines from his old movies. And they're like, yeah, we can make it work.
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Yeah, that's good anywhere. That line works.
That would have perfect context here. But here, I love the kind of dynamic that develops throughout this episode between these two, where they start out, they're enemies. They're antagonistic towards each other. And what's this guy's name again? Vladimir? Vladimir refuses to, give in to this dude in a way. But then towards the end, finally, he's like, when he realizes his number's up, he says, you better watch your ass, man.
Yeah.
Giving him some advice. Because, at this point, he still thinks that he killed his brother.
Yeah, he thinks that they're working together. It's his old conspiracy.
I love this. And I love, we've talked about the costume before, but it's like one thing that's really effective with that too is that you don't see his eyes. I mean, which you don't have to because, he's blind, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he doesn't need to see, and you don't get to see his eyes at all. Because that's the other thing about, the domino masks. You can pretty much tell who's underneath that.
Yep. But with this one, it's unsettling in a way. It's eerie that it's like you can all the expression you get from him in a way is just with his mouth, with his jawline. So you can get the intensity right there. But at the same time, you can imagine what the expression is under that mask.
Yeah.
More in a way than any other. Like whenever you see Robert Downey Jr. in the Iron Man costume or whoever's playing Spider-Man in the Spider-Man outfits and stuff like that, you have no idea what their expression is reading under there because those are just helmets in the movies and so forth. But here, you get the feeling because it's homemade, because it's just cloth, essentially, that there's some serious anger underneath there.
Right. And also, they did something a little different with the Daredevil mask, to where his eyes kind of open up and stuff like that, even though it's all white. So he gets a little more expression out of his mask than, because with the the Spider-Man mask, the problem was that the pieces, they're fixed, eyepieces, so you can't. There's no emoting with that.
right, exactly. It's just it's blank. It's a blank template for anyone to just be under.
And so but they're doing better stuff. And probably in the 7th or 8th Spider-Man movie that they reboot here, we'll get a little more play out of that.
He just won't even be wearing a mask by the time Spider-Man 20 rolls around.
Oh, that's true. They'll just be done with the masks altogether, and you just because to be honest, he never really wore the mask in any of these Spider-Man movies anyway. The thing always gets ripped off or blown off in the first 10 minutes.
The first fight, yeah. And that's the same nurse from that takes care of Ben Urich's or nurse.
Yeah, she's the head nurse or whatever.
again, all these little moments for, any supporting characters to connect in that way. Because now we find out it's like, oh, she's actually supervising Claire here, who is going to call up Matt, or who receives a call from Matt and figures out.
He's like, can you help me keep this guy alive? And blown up just a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's also the guy who told some other guy to hit you in the head with a baseball bat.
I love it here that, not only do you see like physically like the wear and tear on Claire in a bit as well from previous episodes, but like her attitude now is like, yeah, okay, fine. I understand this is for a greater good thing, but this is really like harshing my buzz, man. Harshing my mellow.
Like, before I met you, I was never drug out of my apartment, taken to a seedy garage and almost killed.
Not only that, but you spurned me. It's like,
yeah, that is true.
But of course, her good Samaritan kicks in and is just like, let me help out here.
I mean, she's a nurse. She's gonna do what's supposed to keep you.
Huh. I do love scenes like this, like makeshift first aid in the worst possible conditions.
And this is also a good, again, use of the powers. They're just like, all right, no super television.
Yeah.
He's just like, what's in here? And then he knows.
Cauterize that wound. Vladimir's like, imagine how nervous he'd be if he knew that Daredevil was blind.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's in their like pit. Like, it's just a liar.
And he's like, wait a minute. Is that lady we hit with a baseball bat on the other end? Yeah. Don't listen to her.
Are you sure about this? Can we Google this or something?
I love that line too, and it ties in because he's like, "Don't let up, no matter how much he screams, professional or personal." It's like it's a little bit of both, honestly.
Why can't it be both? What's wrong with that? That's the best case scenario, right?
Yeah. Oh, this poor Rook.
This guy, the New York City. Or sorry, no, one of two.
There's one of two good cops.
The black cop is good.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's it.
He's just like, I'm getting more than I bargained for on my first week on the job.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the only thing they could have done more for this guy is like have him start talking about his wife and kids and stuff like that, and how he can't wait to go home to see his firstborn child.
I'm glad they steer away from cliches like that for the most part. Like, he's looking at a picture of his newborn kid on his phone as he's smiling, stupidly walking into the warehouse.
Or like he just gets off the phone with his wife, like, yes, honey, I'll bring home some eggs. Blah, 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 blah. And
no, I mean, if anything, this show demonstrates like it knows what the tropes are, what the cliches are, and does its best to kind of either steer clear of them or bend them in a way to kind of make you not anticipate what's going to happen. Like, again, like aside from the most recent Batman films, this is the hero that makes me the most anxiety filled whenever he's not on screen, because I know he's going to pop out from somewhere.
I got a mostly dead Russian here.
There you go. Like he just casually strolled up to him too.
He can't hear you. Whap, whap, whap. That would suck. So it's bad enough when you get a surprise birthday, much less a surprise butt kicking. 3 seconds and this dude's got his knee on your throat.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just so I should be talking more, but like I'm just so enthralled with what's going on.
Yeah, I like they really could have. He's just like listening for his heartbeat. I feel like he could have just. My dad used to be a hero cop just to make him proud.
But then he has to go and botch everything. I think, yeah, he ends up botching everything in the end here.
I mean, I like this too. Like, figure out that not every fucking cop in New York is bad. Like, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's good. I didn't know where they're gonna go for it. I thought they were just gonna do the thing where Daredevil and the cops kind of become friends. Like, to sit over there and be quiet. This will all be over soon.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Is like, there's no whatchamacallit. Yeah, there really is no love from the police up until the very last episode, and it comes from that one cop. Yeah, like you said, that one other cop.
Yeah, it's just one-on-one. Definitely it's a different scenario, and honestly, just because like that dude's gonna kick your ass. So if you're the cop, it's just better to not make him mad.
Yeah, I mean, which I'm glad to kind of see in this series too, because in the main Marvel movies up until this point, you've never gotten a sense of like what any Marvel superhero's relationship with local law enforcement is, aside from Shield and maybe some of the military and things like that. But at the same time,
it's always above like there's no personal with any of the law, because it's like, Shield is a major government agency, like you're dealing with the military, like, so you don't get that. It's not the same dynamic.
And I hope that this is actually a theme that they kind of maybe explore a little bit more in other, I guess, street level heroes. Like whenever the Spider-Man movie comes around, I'm hoping that there is that strained relationship with both the public and police, because they never got that in the original run of the movies or even the rebooted stuff, up only for about like 5 minutes in the first rebooted movie, I think. But Spider-Man has always been perceived as, along the lines of Daredevil, as something of a vigilante more than an adored hero.
Right. I feel like that's what's missing from like the Batman movies and stuff, is like where some cops know that he's a good guy, but for the most part it just seems like he's a crazed guy running around the streets beating people up.
Well, we're probably gonna get that come March with Superman telling him you can't be doing that stuff. Anyways, that's for another podcast.
Yes.
We're back to this caravan. It's like I'm just waiting for that phone call. Like when that phone call happens in this episode, that's when I'm like fully like invested. Or, I mean, I'm invested. Yeah. That's when I'm like really like, oh, here we go. The first ever dynamic between the Kingpin and Daredevil, and it's over a telephone conversation.
Well, they're on a radio.
But like even though that you could just say it's like, oh, they shot those scenes separate or at separate times and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The both of their performances are so well done that you're just like, yeah, there is venom behind each word they're saying to each other.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just like that grudging respect. It's just like, okay, I'm talking with a guy right now who's running everything, and like it or not, he as my enemy, he's deserving of my respect, and that's both kind of coming feel for the other guy, and it's just a really great scene. It'll stick much better.
It's funny you should say stick, because coming soon.
Yeah. That's a great episode. Can't wait for it. It's one of the things where I series waiting to see if they're going to throw Stick into it, and not disappoint.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the dynamic between Vladimir and Daredevil. This is just, again, that sort of weird, like, enemy of my enemy, but they don't know who, where they want to draw the line, how much they want.
Yeah, especially like at this point though, because like Vladimir's at his mercy too, and how much of what he really believes about what Daredevil's saying, that Fisk is the one who set him up and everything like that, and he's still like grief stricken. He's not having the best day. Let's put it that way. So it's like, of course, he's gonna mouth off as much as he can to this guy who he perceives.
He's still a hard ass at the end of the day. Like he can't take. He's just like, man, if I had rib bone right now.
Dude, you wouldn't last a second if my uncle's dead body was here. Love that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just so caught up with his dialogue.
And yeah, this is, Daredevil trying to, piece by piece, figuring out exactly how deep the rabbit hole goes, and he's not.
We get a little bit more of Madame Gao's importance or relevance.
And I mean, I'm liking. I think they're saving a lot of her stuff for like Iron Fist, but
yeah, that ties
I
in.
like how they stay super vague about it. Even like you can feel the weight of it, like how important what's going on, but like you still don't have any idea.
Mm-hmm. American school is almost as bad as Russian.
Yeah.
And again, this whole, I mean, you could kind of perceive this as an exposition dump in a way, but I mean, I feel like it needs to be, there needs to be this grand kind of laying out of the master plan at some point in the series, because, otherwise it's just 13 episodes of Daredevil being reactionary to a lot of stuff. Whereas here, after this episode, he really turns a corner and actively pursues way more than usual with regards to the whole Fisk conspiracy. So,
oh man, I just love Vladimir. Like every chance he gets, he's just fighting like this dude. It's ridiculous.
And immediately afterwards regrets it a little bit because it's like, oh, the bullet.
Oh, and then they go through 2 floors.
You'd think with those enhanced senses, Daredevil would pick a more stable place.
And if you are playing along the Daredevil drink game, that's 2 fell through 2 floors.
Yep, that's true. Yep, we were going to. So, he falls a lot in this for an acrobatic Uber fighter. He isn't graceful.
To go through a lot of stuff, like literally through it.
Wow, I forgot about that quick thing from the reporter saying, "You see that, old timer? That's you not mattering anymore." It's like, holy crap!
Yeah,
journalists are vengeful people.
Hey man,
but here we go. Big old face-off here, starting to escalate, starting to build up the forces. And cut back to some quieter moments here with Karen and Senor Foggy.
Senor Foggy. Oh, Senor Foggy, you're so good.
Oh, yeah, I forgot in the last episode that Foggy... Or no, beginning of the episode, they kind of showed it like, oh yeah, he got hit by something.
Little tag, he's got battle scarring.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, man, makes that's how you get chicks. It's like, oh yeah,
the sympathy play.
I got blowed up a little bit. I'm like, look at this wicked scar from when I saved this poor old lady from her falling building.
Where'd she go? Oh, she's getting stitches, I think, or something.
Yeah. she's getting her own medical care.
Again, I love the not just kind of the sense of possible like attraction between characters here, but also the sense of family that's quickly developed between these three.
It's like it's not even attraction so much as the affection. And it's just like they're a team, and they could be more than that, but we're working together. Good times. Everybody stay safe.
Then a nurse comes in. I hear somebody needs a sponge bath.
Time for somebody's enema.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh man, terrible.
Sorry for those listening at home. I'm sorry. Like we're just enthralled by this. I'm just like, and that's the thing is like I watch.
Yeah. I've seen this thing hundreds of times. I should say hundreds, but a bunch of times.
And I just watched this yesterday. Yeah,
on the ground.
All right, here we go. Hope you got all your drinks are over and done with because he's finally getting up.
Ow.
And you got to imagine, given the time frame of a lot of this stuff taking place, that all the good work Claire put into mending him has just become undone with that. All the stitches just went and everything.
There's no point. I don't even know why she tries.
Well, that was kind of her frustration coming through earlier. Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it again. You're not allowed to come back here for a week.
Whatever Vladimir is going through is 10 times worse, I'm sure, because he's got a bullet.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, and he was just burnt. Like that can't feel pleasant. I know when a little burn on my hand from this bothers me for the rest of the day. One took a road flare to my gunshot wound.
Oh yeah, he goes in and out of. Yep. I love this. It's not about the humanity. It's not about compassion or anything. It's like Daredevil's like, I need you, dude.
Yeah, like not yet. You don't get to die yet.
Very pragmatic of him to be like, yep. I could give a crap if it's painful to be alive right now. You're staying here.
Couldn't even watch me die. It's like, sorry, fella. I need that info.
Is this where he gets? No. Okay, wait a minute. He didn't have. Is that the cop's nightstick?
Over there in the corner.
I mean, he picked up something. He picked up. I think it was maybe the cop's night. Like, has he been weaponless up until this? I can't remember. Yeah, he has been.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, is that where he gets like his first like weapon of choice? He swiped it off an honest cop.
I mean, like he's thrown guns at people before.
Mm-hmm.
I think technically that counts as a weapon, even though you're not using it how it's supposed to.
All right, here we go. McClane and Gruber show off. And we got the dad from Family Matters and Ben Urich out there.
Oh man. If Reginald Val Johnson was in this, I would have. They could have cast Reginald Val Johnson as Ben Urich. I would have loved it.
That would have been kind of fun.
And then here we go. Like I like that too. He just touches the wall and you can feel what's going on outside.
Again, all the power he's got with him just being displayed through action rather than effect.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if I had to make one little complaint, it's like that's a very casual hop off that platform for a dude who just fell through 2 stories.
On top of all the other like crap that he's been through today, you know, it's like today I've got, you know, I've been in 3 stories.
All right, here we go. Find it. Have to intrude on the Ninja Turtle territory, but
oh man, down there that would have been great.
Here we go. First ever conversation between the two of them.
Like, I have a certain set of skills. Find you, and I will kill you.
What do I call you? Hello. Me at this day and age, we're just going to full-on Adele parody.
Oh man.
Hello, it's me.
That's all.
Say your name, you first. Love that.
How have you?
And again, it's like, oh, I mean, I forgot he kind of does like, we're not so different, you and I thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
it's obligatory.
Sometimes there is that kind of heavy-handed dialogue at times. But I mean, when you have an actor like D'Onofrio delivering it so efficiently like that, it works. Young man. Yeah. Young man. Just that kind of talking down to him just by calling him basically youngster. Even though I'm not sure exactly like
the guy.
And here we go, setting up a sniper. Now is this guy they're just setting up for the sake of, that's what they do, the perimeters.
For the sake of the viewer. Yeah, you can just put the guy up there and then have the shot come from, you know.
But again, like what I enjoy about the D'Onofrio's portrayal of Fisk in this show is the fact that, like, yeah, it's a means to an end. It's not pleasant business, but you know what? In the end, I truly believe like this is going to better my community.
Sometimes bad people got to do bad things to make things right. What? Yeah, you heard me.
Just go with it, man. Vladimir's like, did he mention me? He mentioned me, didn't he? He's like, I'm here still.
Can't take him.
Uh-oh.
Despite your best efforts.
And he's like, yeah, here's the...
I like, yeah. It's like, really, bro?
Even though Daredevil could easily say, like, don't worry, man, I'm not going to do it. I love this. I love the power play conversation where each party thinks they're trying to they got like leverage on the other, but then it's like, aha, but no, this means that he hasn't told you this yet. In which case, I have an upper hand, Daredevil. I know that's not your name yet, but it's your ideology. Man, yeah. I'm glad we could talk. Aw. And I mean, that's the other thing too.
Have this chat.
Yeah, that's the other thing too with the great dynamics between heroes and villains is that when they do kind of come to that middle ground, it's like, you know what? I think you're going to be a worthy obstacle to overcome.
Yeah.
Ooh. Eloquent, Vincent. Yep. Eloquent.
It's like people aren't even going to know you and they hate your guts. Which all the bad things in the world happen to you and you alone.
Yeah.
They do this thing too where you're like, oh no. You know, you're like, no, not Ben.
Not yet, at least. He's got miles to go before he sleeps. Oh, snap.
See, and here we go. Like, they showed you this guy getting hit. They kind of showed that second guy. They pulled a full-on Nolan and did the motion
blood.
with no,
yeah. No blood. Sawdust. Like a cloud burst over his head for a second, and that was it. Oh, man. And it's like, it's not that it's a personal loss for Daredevil. It's more about like, it's more it just implicates him further in heinous dealings.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think it would have been good if he said, he's like, what did you do, Fisk? What you forced. I think it would have been better line if he said what you allowed me to, because like without Daredevil, he doesn't have this guy to pin on, like to wrap it all up in a nice little bow for the media.
Yep.
So it's actually like Daredevil's full existence kind of helped him in this way, where he could just cast the spotlight on everybody else, and like Daredevil didn't even slip up on tape one time. And all the stuff that he's done, he got caught on tape once. And then
what else can he do? He's stuck with the Russian in the building. It's like, yeah, he's helpless. And I think in order to kind of rub in that helplessness even more would just be as aggravating. Oh, and this is a callback, of course, because Karen's like, that's the dude who saved me.
Yeah, it's the guy in the mask. Of course, how can you tell one guy in a mask from another guy in a mask?
If the news media had just completely blundered and been like, Captain America's going on a mass cop killing spree. Well, that's the weirdest Marvel drop they could have done.
That would have been great. Or if they're even better, they're like, Hawkeye goes nuts, and everyone's like, who the fuck is Hawkeye?
That's right. No, what it would have been is like, Hawkeye goes on mass killing spree. Who cares?
Yeah. Who was that? Jeremy Renner? Doesn't he have a farm somewhere?
Yeah, he's on his farm. Whatever. Having babies and not shooting people with bows and arrows.
Yeah. All right, and here comes all the other bad cops in New York.
Or at least all the ones who are pissed off now that someone's shooting cops.
Yeah.
But oh man, like he feels like he's not gonna make it out of this one.
Yeah. He's like, well, it was a good run, and we tried our best. We almost
had a thing.
Yeah.
Kind of regret that we didn't have a thing. But
yeah, and any man who turns down Rosario Dawson, the biggest idiot of all time.
Well, Daredevil has to prioritize, I guess.
Yeah.
That being said, Rosario Dawson is like a #1 priority, I feel.
She'd be like, "Stop being a Daredevil." I'd have been like, oh, "Okay,
You got it. You're the boss."
Yo.
And there go the rest of the stitches.
I think she just started using freaking super glue instead of stitches. You know, like
What she needs is that synthetic skin stuff that the Vision is made out of from Avengers.
Yep. He was like, here, it's made out of freaking vibranium. There's no way you get cut.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh man, I forgot these are the corrupt cops. Yep, because
there goes poor Officer Sullivan.
Oh, as soon as he said Officer Sullivan is dead, I'm like, oh shit.
But he's not. Oh.
Ugh, lovely. Someone put in an inordinate amount of raspberry jam on his throat.
It's everywhere. Who would need all this raspberry jam?
Oh yeah, now I remember too. It's like this is Vladimir's last stand, essentially, right? Or it's gonna turn out to be. Yeah, like I said, it's like how this started off with him just, basically saying like, "Screw you, Daredevil," or "Screw you, guy in mask," because no one calls him Daredevil.
Right.
To the point where he's like, "You take care of yourself, because this Fisk guy,
he's bad business.
Look at me.
Bad news.
Look what happened to me."
Yeah.
Even though part of that's your fault, but
well, I mean, said more things that Daredevil wanted to hear. He wouldn't look the way he does.
Oh, nice flip in midair. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, he swiped that cop's nightstick, and that's the first time he employs like a nightstick to like chuck, aside from guns.
He doesn't quit.
And here we go.
Yes.
The tentative, will he or won't he shoot him?
And it may just be a little racist, but I feel like every Russian and every media should have to say moose and squirrel.
Darling. Flying squirrel and moose.
just say moose and squirrel.
Before you croak. Just once for me. Can you also say nuclear? Can you also say nuclear vessels?
Okay. Carl, buddy. I gotta get my dog.
No problem.
Carl, buddy, come here.
Come on.
What is it? Come here, buddy.
There you go. Come here, buddy. Come here.
Carl, come on. No, he's not doing it. Come here.
Meanwhile.
They call this something, Carl. Go next, Carl.
All right.
Oh man, and here comes the advice. The foreshadowing.
Yep.
They'll kill everybody.
You mustn't kill him.
You know what you must do? They'll kill everybody you care about, even your dog. Dude, that would have upset me. It's like, yeah.
And then, yeah. I wish I knew the words to this little Russian ditty that he's singing here. It sounds like a good song. Nice, uplifting.
It's the Kremlin's theme song.
Yeah.
Yep. Vladimir's last stand.
Goes up like a badass. This dude was one of my favorite villains out of the show.
Yeah, actually, you know what? It's like he's definitely, I mean, for the most part, a sympathetic one, because he's not a good guy at all necessarily,
No.
but a lot of his response in his last couple of episodes have been out of pure like familial obligation and caring for his brother and everything like that. Very human emotion, not just because I'm a jerk, I'm gonna be evil.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Condemned, episode 6, where stuff finally got
Stick
real.
is next.
Yeah, Stick is next. So we'll catch you next time for a little bit more flashback into how Matt became so daredevil-y. So we'll see you soon from Mike and Max.
Have a good one.